Hey guys, it's Jason B. Kendrick here, and I wanted to share an aha I had today. Going through these big transitions, these big energy shifts that we've all been going through, especially with all the eclipses coming up this month, there's been a lot of shifting going on, and I've been struggling. And I know a lot of my friends and a lot of other folks out there have been struggling as well because things don't seem to, there doesn't seem to be any real gap between the ups and the downs. It just kind of seems to be this very, like the wave function is very collapsed. So it's up, down, up, down, up, down. And so it's like high point, low point, high point, low point, or, awareness and then lesson and awareness and lesson, depending on how you want to look at it. And so I came to this awareness around ego today, and it was kind of this three-part thing. I was talking with a friend of mine about inner child work, and then holding my own space and keeping my own energy bubble, and then doing some of Dr. Joe Dispenza's pineal gland meditations. And then I was re-listening to when I got to sit in the hot seat with Abraham last month, or in May, and it was interesting because I've listened to it probably 10 different times, but today it struck me and maybe it was last night, but it struck me recently about the ego when she was talking about the ego. And what I realized was that all of my training and all the studying I've been doing, there's been a lot of times where the spiritual teachers and the masters I've been listening to have been talking about the ego as the enemy, as working against us, working against the spiritual side of us. And even though I agreed because that was my experience, what I was realizing was that it never really sat well with me, because I feel like the universe is perfect. I feel like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, doesn't really make mistakes. So all things being equal, the easiest answer is usually the right one. And what always felt to me was that it wasn't that the ego was bad, it's that we didn't understand how to utilize it. And I just had this intuition that the ego was like a bloodhound. It was like a dog, a companion. It had this purpose. And yes, its purpose is physical. It's to help us stay alive and keep us in homeostasis and trying to keep us moving forward. However, it uses our past programming to do that. So if it's our conscious mind focused in our physical selves trying to keep us alive, and we're not consciously directing it, all it can do is default back to unconscious programming that we created as children, as egocentric as we are as children, thinking everything's our fault. And we create all of these stories about unworthiness and unlovability, and not being supported and being neglected or whatever. I know I've created majority of those, if not all of those, from a childhood, innocently, because I didn't understand that my parents weren't the gods that I thought they were. They were people, and they were going through their own thing. And just like me now, going through my own stuff, if I said something wrong to a child and they took it personally, it was really me having my own issues. And so what I've come to realize, and what I'm utilizing now and focusing on, and this is going to be an ongoing process, so I'm sure I'll have several more of these videos as well, but the ego, if you consider it like a bloodhound, like a dog on a bone, something that needs to have a direction, you have to consciously give it a direction. So I gave my ego the direction of health and happiness today, and all day long I felt much more healthy and happy than I have in months and months. So as I move forward with this journey, I'll keep you updated, but think of your ego as a bloodhound, or as a dog, or as something that needs to be directed. Because if you don't direct it, then it's just going to use what it has. It's trying to do its job, and if we don't actually consciously program it and give it something to do, like any computer program or anything, it's just going to do what it has been programmed to do, or use what programming is there. So if you get up in the morning and do your meditations, and then consciously think of, what do I want my focus to be today? And then even imagine, that's what I did. I imagined my ego as a bloodhound, giving it the scent. Here, today, it's health and happiness. That's the scent, that's the focus. Go get it. And then I continued to stay as much in my body as possible and allowed my ego to do its job. And I felt much more healthy and happy all day long. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. Please leave comments, and please click on the links. And as I move forward with finishing up book 3 and everything, which I know this is going to be a chapter in it, I will let you guys know when it's done and get back in touch with you. All right? Love you guys. Peace.